I've coached hundreds of players who have 0 PR all the way to thousands of PR, and the 23 things that I'm about to share with you will definitely make you a better fighter and a better player in general. The first tip that I have is to master movement over your builds, because movement has become the new meta. It's what's causing, the big skill gap between the average keyboard and mouse player and like a high tier 1 pro. So what I mean by this is that you'll see average keyboard and mouse players, they won't sprint slide like this, they won't sprint at all. And they have pretty much bad binds that doesn't allow them to, have the mobility that pros have. And if you see clips of players like Peterbot or even Zen, who's the craziest creative warrior, you'll see that their movement is top tier, and it's like their momentum that carries them and allows them to get height or to get in front of the person that they're fighting. And to really master your movement, the quick fix for this is basically just to incorporate sprinting way more into like whatever you're doing. So say you're fighting, right? Like in your building, just sprint as much as you can, and have a good sprint bind to make sure that you can click all movement keys without having to release any of the fingers to press your sprint bind. So yeah, and then you'll like be able to combo into different like height moves and stuff. Same thing with sprint sliding like this. Literally just sprint jump, slide right away. You'll continue moving forward. You don't have to keep pressing your sprint button. So yeah, movement is basically the most important thing right now in the game. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be more changes coming soon. This is recorded before Chapter 7 drops, but this will be released when Chapter 7 drops. Master your movement this season, and don't focus too much on your builds. So the next tip I have is to learn good angles and peaks. And basically, this is going to be a lot of stuff, but the first thing I want to cover is obviously being in a box and, just having a regular peak in a box fight. So obviously the first peak we all know and love is the peanut butter peak. And when you're using this, make sure that you're hugging the wall when you create it, because if you're back here, like right here, if you're in the middle of your box basically, and then you make the peanut butter peak, look how open you are, look how exposed you are. Like I could literally just shoot you right there. So yeah, before you make it, hug it, boom, do it, then jump. That's how it's used. The next peak I have is the bottom peanut butter peak, which is this one. And basically this is really good to use if you edit it, jump, shoot whoever is right here, because then they won't be able to see you, but you're going to be able to see their feet and their body. You can get some trip damage like that. Nice little 100 pump full box, boom. Next peak I have is a window peak. Basically you want to use this every time the opponent is like hugging the wall too. So like that. Also make sure when you're using peaks like this, your builds are really weak. So what you can do is right after you edit, you can just hold it, because usually a really good player, most of the time, if you make an edit on them, they're going to shoot the wall. So you edit the wall, boom, take it. Like they're going to do that. They're going to focus on taking the wall. Especially with the Sentinel pump shotgun, they're going to be able to take that like right away, like one shot, I'm pretty sure. So I don't know if it's going to be the next season. It probably won't be when I'm releasing this, but yeah, usually the shotguns are going to be one hit most of the time to these walls and like that. And obviously with right hand peaks, make sure that when you're boxed up and fighting someone like this, make sure you're not shooting them from this angle right here. Even though this is a right hand peak and you can take this, say they're on the other side, like right here, they can just hug this wall right here, and they have an actual good right hand peek on you. So instead of doing it from like right here, make sure you do it from right here. And you can do that. Another really good peek is obviously the Martos peek or the Kanata peek, like this. Very easy, very simple. Person up above here is not going to see you. They're just going to be like right here, and then you're going to be able to shoot their head. So the next peak is going to be when they're boxed up on low ground. Obviously, when you're pressuring this wall, you can do this. Boom. So from their angle, they're not going to be able to see, because you're literally like right there. The most they can do is like 20 damage. But if they want to get any closer to be able to get a headshot on you, it's literally not possible without them like having to hug the wall and be like right here. And by then, like you're going to have an easy 200 pump right here. So the next tip I have is going to be tracking opponents through builds. And basically what this does is that if you have your sound cues on, or the visual sound effects, you're going to be able to see the footsteps of where the person is. So I know this person is in my box right now, and say I make an edit so I can see where they are. So like right here, literally just never take your crosshair off of them. The only times you ever want to take your crosshair off of them is if you're going to build up and like go to height or something. But other than that, do not lose them, because then they're going to be able to do whatever they want with you. But yeah, always keep your crosshair on your opponent. Only times you want to look away is if you're going for height or doing something else. But other than that, do not lose them. Tip number 4 is to learn good positioning inside of a box. So what I mean by this is that you never want to be in the middle of your box like this. like roaming around doing whatever. Just stay away from the middle. The only things you want to do is either if you place a cone in your box, you want to hug behind the cone, and if someone makes an edit like that, you have this to fall back to, you know. And then if they do make this edit and they take your wall, then you can just hug the front of the wall like this. But you never want to be in the middle, obviously, because this gives the other person literally the best peek on you. And obviously if I'm right here, then I'm behind the wall, they can't see me, so they gotta re-edit. And then obviously if they make that window edit that I just made, like the right side, you never want to be in the middle, because obviously they can just strafe, hit you, and it'll be game over. So yeah, never be in the middle of the box, stay away from the middle. The next tip I have is to master the ping for your playstyle. And if you have low ping, obviously be as aggressive as you want. And you should be aggressive if you're 0 ping, because you should be able to take everybody's walls no matter what. And for high ping players, look at pros like Turtle, or even like Aviv when he had high ping, or there's this guy from France, I think named Kuruma. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but yeah, you can look him up on YouTube. They play really high ping. They're really good. So yeah. And for high ping players, you want to be able to do things earlier than, you know, 0 ping players. So say you're an East player, right, and you're playing a Central tournament. Usually Central players are going to have way lower ping than you. So what you want to do is basically just prioritize not holding walls, because obviously they're going to take it every time. So say take your wall. Okay. If you have a cone in your box, that's very important. You want to edit it and just go. Like, don't even think about fighting. When I say don't even think about fighting, I mean don't think about fighting like aggressive peaks, because obviously they're probably going to win that fight 9 times out of 10. And what you want to do is either catch them off guard, make them waste their mats, or, you know, just play smart. Don't try to re-peak them, because they're on lower ping. They're going to take your walls every single time. And like I said, if your wall is really unhealthy and you edit it, you're just going to take it. So limit the amount of times that happens, and you'll be good. So the next tip I have is to use pre-fires, and obviously we all know this, but to practice this, go into Mechanics V5, go to pre-fire practice, and start. Again, this is really good for high ping players. It's going to allow you to learn how to pre-fire correctly. Yeah, this is just a really good skill to have if people are spamming your walls. Obviously try to limit the amount of times that they're able to hit you, but yeah, this is pretty fun to do anyway. The next tip I have is to learn how to phase. Same thing, everybody knows this. Go into phase and practice in Mechanics V5 and just practice getting inside. It's going to take a couple tries, but it's pretty fun to do. So from up top, boom, that's how you get in. Like that. Just try to get in. Timing is really slim, and you want to make sure you're able to do this, because if you're aggressing someone and they're really low, the best thing you could possibly do is just to phase in. And this can cause you to get into a 50-50, but it's much better because they're low. They're not going to be focusing on trying to get counter damage. I mean, obviously, depending on how good the player is you're going against. But yeah, just use phases correctly. Make sure to get in when they're really low. But if they're really good, then be aware of counter damage, and then you should be good. The next tip I have is to use baits. And an example of using a bait would be to, say you're in a box with someone, they're box fighting you, right? They're probably going to be in this box right here. If they're pressuring you like this, usually what you can do is edit out to the side like this, and then go back and pressure the same angle. Shoot the wall, whatever, take it in a couple seconds. Obviously faster than that, but you get the point. Like, lead them one way and then go back to the other way that you were originally facing. Another really good bait is that, say you have someone fully boxed like this and you have your blueprint out, what you can do is edit out to the side like that, edit this way, boom, trick them into thinking you're going out the other way, so you can like make space and maybe make like this peak right here. But instead, you edit out to the side, obviously edit the stair, and then boom, shoot the person. So the next tip I have is to always make sure you're slipping cones and ramps into someone's box. What I mean by this is that if someone is boxed up and they're really low, they don't have a cone or a ramp in their box, instead of taking the wall like this, just slip a cone in there. Slip a cone in there, or even the alternative to taking the wall and putting a cone inside is to just slip a stair right there. And you have 3 options of where the person's going to go to. Usually, most of the time, you can just edit out, or not edit out, but go to the right, and then full box it, pre-piece it. And usually, when someone is faced with a stair in their box, they're going to edit left. And then that's when you have this angle with the pre-piece, you just shoot them. The next tip I have is to shoot replace builds. And what I mean by this is that when a wall, or any building structure for that matter, is freshly edited, you can see that the health goes down, right? So what you can do is when it's edited, shoot it, boom. So say the other person takes this wall, right? So they take it and make an edit. What you can do right when they make the peanut butter edit, just shoot it, take it. Like, I'm not sure which shotguns to be used in Chapter 7, whether or not it's going to be one hit to unhealthy walls. But this is literally like the best thing you can do. Boom, take it. Then make a window at it, take it. Like, it's that simple. And you can really just go back and forth with the other person and just keep taking walls. And then eventually, when you're tired of doing that, you just do whatever, get out. And you'll even see close to Peterbot or any like mechanical pro. What they do most of the time is that they'll see the person in the box and they'll walk up to it. The other person's gonna be like, oh, why is he walking up to my box with a shotgun? How is he stupid? So he makes a window edit, and then right when they make that edit, boom, just take the wall. The next tip is going to be to make space. So when you're low, what you want to do is never just stay in one box, because if you're facing against a really good player, they're just going to build up on you and pressure you from like all different angles. The minute they take a wall, you might panic and edit out or something. They might have you pre-pieced. So obviously the best thing to do in this situation is to make a 2x2, which is what Kanata does and a lot of pros do. So that way when they're pressuring you from any angle and they take a wall eventually, you know, you have other stuff to fall back to, and you can even edit up, do whatever. Like, you got a lot of stuff to do, lots of counters to get out of certain situations. But yeah, really good. The next tip is just to be unpredictable. It's really just all about using movement too, like really sprinting one way, going out, side jumping the other way. Like, that's a really good way to throw people off and be unpredictable. And usually when you're box fighting, when you're box fighting someone on height, like, you want to have a certain way to go, because usually most of the time people are just going to go out to the left. That's like the number one thing most people do. What you can also do is like edit out from the back. Okay, ramp up, do a high ground retake, full box, I don't know, do whatever. Have multiple ways to go. Think about what you're going to do before you do it, because most of the time the other players are already thinking about pre-piecing you. And just like play from the other person's perspective. Like, that's all I can really say about being unpredictable. The next step is to use edit on release. And this is pretty clear why you should do it, because edit on release off, you have to click multiple buttons. You have to click the edit bind twice to confirm it. But if you're, you know, playing with edit on release on, it makes this so much faster edit. Obviously, fast edits aren't the goal of winning fights, but it'll allow you to make quicker plays and really just get the jump on your opponent. And if you're like newer to keyboard and you want to just practice edit discipline and all that, just keep it off. The next tip I have is to keep building simple. You don't need to know how to do a quad edit or triple edit in 2025. Like, it's literally, like I said, all about movement. Obviously, you should learn how to do protective retakes and stuff, but like, you don't really need to do quad edits or edit downs or anything like that. Like, literally all you need is a FOIFO cone, okay, side jumps, high wall side jumps, protected 90s like this, and then obviously sprint 90s, and crossovers like that. Like, even me, I've coached lots of players, but like, I've always beaten most of the players I've coached just because of the fact that I keep building simple and I keep it fundamental. But yeah, all these different things, quad edits and like edit courses that you'll see most pros do. Obviously, they like to do it in free building, but never use it in game because of the fact that it really doesn't do anything. The most important thing about building is just having, you know, the ability to cut people off, play height, and create good opportunities for yourself. The next two tips I have basically go into the last tip, which is to spam side jumps and spam high walls. Like, this is literally the best thing to do in a build fight. Side jump like that. Like, if you can sprint and side jump at the same time, like, if you learn how to do all that effectively, you'll be good in a 1v1. Like that, that's a really good high wall right there. Yeah, just learn how to sprint, side jump, do these mechanics drills and stuff. Okay, next tip, same thing that goes into the last couple tips, play for height. Obviously, in a build fight, you want to build to height as much as you want, but obviously don't go too high, because chopping is still a thing. Or even if you're on low ground and someone's boxed up like this, you don't even need to be like 3 layers high, like up here. This is unnecessary. Like, literally just be a layer above. That's good enough. You know, cut some angles off. Okay, cut angles off, do that pre-piece. And then to attack from this angle, this is a really, really good right-hand peek. Then obviously the same peek that I showed earlier, like this. Very good. That's all you really need. But playing for height obviously gives you the advantage, especially if the natural terrain from the storm is leading to like a mountain or something. Like, always prioritize height in game. Next thing is to just play confidently. And to play confidently, that just comes with practice and experience. You're never going to become confident by just talking to yourself and not actually applying it. So make sure you practice, do whatever you need to do to become confident, and practice and play against people who are better than you, because that actually gives you competition, which is my next tip to play against competition. Do not play against your friends who are terrible. If you actually want to get better, like, find a server, find good people, and it's that simple. If you don't have anyone to play with, comment on this video, you'll probably find someone. Next tip is to play tournaments frequently And what I mean by this is that when you play tournaments, go for whatever goal you want. But I would say just use tournaments as practice, like just W key, reload cups and stuff like that. Skin cups, there's always gonna be players who are really good to play those. So next tip is to play a lot of ranked reload. That's one thing that a lot of pro players use to warm up. And literally all they do is just W key everyone. They don't do anything else. They don't care about dying, they don't care about winning, just W key. That's it. Well, obviously they care about dying, but you get the point. And my last tip is to practice efficiently. And what I mean by this is have a good warm up. Make sure you don't just hop into games or tournaments cold-handed. Get your hands warm. 1v1 someone who is better than you. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's all the things that I've garnered from coaching hundreds of players. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe if you want more videos like this. Also, don't forget to use code MYSTICS in the item shop to support me, and I'll see you all in the next one.